Hey guys, in the fast lane here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change out a water pump on a 2003 Cadillac CTS. Now this pertains to the Cadillac 03 and 04 models. If you guys need to purchase the items in this video, you can always purchase them in my store. It'll say shop this video. It's always underneath the YouTube video. I pin it to the top comments. If you're on my website, it'll say shop this video underneath the video. Special thanks to Buy Auto Parts for sending out these parts. Here's the water pump. It's by GMB. Comes with the water pump, and there's an O-ring in here, which is good. So I'll end up giving you the torque specs myself, but I like that fact that it comes with this protective piece of cardboard so your blades don't get dented up. Actually looks like a pretty nice piece of equipment. Alright, so if you're looking at this and saying, whoa, wait a minute, like there's all kinds of parts missing and this isn't going to show me exactly how to do it. Don't worry, I did a automotive repair video on a 2003 CTS radiator repair. So if you need to see where all the stuff is missing and how everything comes out, you can go ahead and go over to that video and it'll show you how to drain the antifreeze and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and take this intake off, 7mm or flathead. Go ahead and pull them down. Alright, so I got the clip off and the vacuum lines. I'm just going to pull this whole thing up, set it aside. Now as for this clip right here, this clip on the back right here, it has a clip like this. Pretty much. All you have to do really is push down and it pulls these little prongs out. You want them to separate so you can pull the plug down. Now we're going to go ahead and take this serpentine belt off real quick. 15mm. You can get a breaker bar, torque wrench, ratchet with a piece of PVC pipe, and we're going to get close and we're going to go towards the driver's side. So get it on there good, push it all the way down, and take it off right there. Now slowly let it go backwards, and that's it. What we're going to do next is take this 15 off on this tensioner pulley, the drive pulley or serpentine pulley. And then after that, we are going to take 3 10s out of the water pump pulley. Now if you want to know if your water pump's bad, once you take off the serpentine belt, check this out. So that's bad. Any kind of wiggle, you know, in and out, side to side, and then this noise, that's toast. It's done. Now we're going to swap out to 10mm, and we're going to take off these on the water pump pulley. Alright, set these bolts aside. Don't lose them. Should be able to pull it straight off. I'm going to give it a little smack, maybe. There we go. And yeah, wow. Look at that. All this gunk coming out of there. The coolant. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So what we're running here for the bolts, it looks like it's an E12, or you can run a 12.38. Just if you don't have the right proper one, you need to get it done quick, it's possible to do it with 12 point. For these bolts, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Somebody took them out. 6. Maybe 7. We got a 5/16 6-point. You can use a 5/16 6-point on these, or you can use an E10 star bit. So either or, it'll work. Alright, so it looks like in order to get this cover off, we're going to have to loosen up this intake, the upper intake plenum. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a E12, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to loosen any of these brackets or anything, although this one is on there pretty good, so we might have to take these two bolts out. But other than that, we just need a little bit of lift so we can get it out of there. So I'm going to see what kind of lift I get. Now be careful, because underneath the intake plenum there are rubber O-ring gaskets, and you don't want those falling off, and then you'll have a vacuum leak and it'll be a real pain in the neck. And I believe the torque specs for these are 17 foot-pounds. I have a repair video on this. It's a PCV system, and it shows everything. So if you can't figure out what the torque specs are, which I'm pretty sure they're 17 foot-pounds, just look up that video. I'll put all the links underneath the video so you guys can find it. Alright, so in order to get this plenum off, not completely off, but just lift it enough so you can get the front timing cover off, is there's two 10mm right here on this plate. Just take those two out. And then right over here, there's 8mm and an 8mm on the power steering reservoir. Take those two out and the plenum will lift straight up. This is the power steering reservoir. There's another one at the bottom, but don't worry about that. Just give it a little bit so you can get a good lift like that and pull it out. Just go over here to the power steering pump. In actual, there's three E15 or 14s. So we have one here, and one here. So 1, 2, 3. And you can turn the pulley once the belt's off to where you need it. So basically, there's one right there. I'm going to take these three out, and then we can just slide the pulley, the whole pump, back a little bit. There's a bracket behind it. You actually don't have to get to it from the side. It's in the front, which is great. This makes it so much easier to work on. There we go, man. That's what I'm talking about. Now we're pretty much out of the way. That's awesome. So let's see if we can sneak everything out of here. Alright, it's looking good. There we go. So basically, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go here, pop power steering pump off, pull it forward, and start to wedge it this way, and it comes off. To take the pump off, we have 1, 2, 3 E12s. Go ahead and take them off. And it might leak a little bit, which it more than likely is. Get a pan under there before you take the last one out and pull it off. We don't care about this pump, so we'll just give it a little tap on the top. Just a light tap, side. There we go. There's the water pump. Yeah, it's completely pitted. I mean, look at that. It's probably one of the worst water pumps I've ever seen. Yeah, it's definitely toast. We're just going to prep it up a little bit. Basically, we're just going to clean off any kind of grime on the outside. We're going to get it dry, any RTV or anything. This is a cast iron block, so we don't have to worry about being too rough with it. You can hit it up with a little sandpaper, some fine grit, and it'll be good. I'm going to use some Permatech Ultra Gray, high torque. You can use the blue Permatech as well. That's actually for coolant and stuff, but the gray will work just as good and won't have any issues. So I'm going to take this ring off. And this is just my preference. You can actually just take this and just set it on there and put it right on there, but I don't like to do that. I like to put RTV on it because it definitely, in my opinion, guarantees it, you know. So I'm just going to sticky up this just like this, kind of like run a little bit all around it. Also, it'll help this O-ring stay seated, because sometimes they want to pop out or fold in. And if you can just coat it and then set it on like that, right in the groove where it needs to be. There we go. That'll just keep it in place. And now I'm going to go actually coat the block. Just take some RTV and we're just going to coat all the way around here. Just like this. And this will actually help. You don't have to go too crazy thick, but a nice, you know, like maybe a 16 thousandths or thickness, or half a 16th. Nothing crazy, but this, if your block has a little bit of pitting in it, let's say it rusted out a little bit because you were getting a leak for a long time, this will actually help it seal up where that O-ring might not squish down far enough. This will close up that gap. So it's not required, but like I said, I do this on all my builds. We're going to install the water pump, and the torque specs is 11 foot-pounds the first pass, and the second pass is going to be 22 foot-pounds. Now right before you go ahead and put this water pump on, you need to blow out the bolt holes, because it could hydrolock early. So when you're torquing it, it could lock up before it hits 11 pounds and actually not putting 11 pounds of pressure to the block. So just blow them out. Make sure there's no water in there, and then go ahead and proceed to install it. We're going to go ahead and line the pump up. Basically the two top ones. There's a part number and something on top, so that'll be the top part. So you're just going to make sure your O-ring's on there. And gently get it lined up. Push forward, hold it there, and finger tight the bolts. So we're going to get it finger tight. Try to get it as flush as you can on the first one, because you don't want that O-ring coming back off. Alright, we have them all finger tight, and now we're going to take torque wrench. It's already set to 11 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and torque these down. 11. There's 11. Now we're going to change it up to 22 on the final pass, and then that's it. Alright, set to 22. That's 22. Basically, what you're going to need to do after this process, once you get the water pump installed, you're just going to go ahead and fill up your reservoir to the right side. Just fill it up to top, run the vehicle for about 15 minutes until the thermostat opens up, and then just keep adding antifreeze 50-50 mix as much as you need it to get it to the line. And then that's pretty much it. This vehicle will bleed itself. It'll burp all the bubbles out itself, because it has a reservoir that maintains a certain level of coolant. The last step right before filling up your coolant would be to take this pulley. You're going to just put it on there, put the 3 10mm bolts on once you got your timing cover on, and then just put your serpentine belt back on. If you need to see how to install a serpentine belt, all the links to the description of those videos will be in there. You'll be able to click them, because I've already done these videos. I did the radiator, the serpentine belt, now I've done the water pump, and the next video is going to be the timing belt. Power steering bolts are 18 foot-pounds. That's the torque specs on them.